Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from Chicopee, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, and joining me is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Clune. He offers both public and private tours, as well as presentations of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, South Hadley, and Chicopee, Mass. Now you actually lead these tours and give these presentations yourself, is that correct?
Yes, and since this is a single building in the middle of not much, I usually just note it, not give presentations or tours of it.
So today he'll be educating us on the National Guard Armory in Holyoke. So tell us about the National Guard Armory in Holyoke.
Okay, it was owned by Massachusetts for most of its life, and it was made in 1907. It was made to look like the Howell Warden Armory that's in Great Britain. So it would be good looked up that. And it's castellated and turreted, which means, and it's also with windows that are so small, they're definitely made for rifle shooters. And that's on the first floor, and on the basement they have bars on the window, and the second floor wider windows. But it was definitely made for protection of the state. You would have the militia of Massachusetts, now called the Massachusetts National Guard, train there. There was a back room that was very large where they would train. And that back room was actually used by the Holyoke Catholic basketball team for many years for their home games. And so during the discussion, I'll tell you why this place is worth saving and why it's been special to Holyoke. And I'll also tell you about the National Guard. And it's good to understand what it looks like. So if you go there, it'd be great. I'll look at some of the pictures I have, look at the pictures around the internet. It's a very popular place because it has a very unique look to it. Now, sadly, the back 80% collapsed about 7 years ago in the year 2016 and had to be taken out. But the front part, which is the very unique part, is still there. And that's great, and hopefully it can be saved. They've tried to get retail establishments into the location, but it hasn't worked out. So it was owned by the state from 1907. 1990, the sheriff of Hampden County actually took it over to have extra prisoners stay in this place. And for the past few years, they've tried to get retailers to move in there and at least take care of it, which would be great. But it's very hard, of course.
And why is this building so special to Holyoke?
Now, its original name was the Massachusetts Volunteer Militia Armory, MVM Armory. Now, and then it became the National Guard Armory of Holyoke, which is the same group, just changed its name. Now, it's been a place where Holyoke Catholic High School had some of its basketball games, especially through the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And there, a lot of people get to see the inside. Now, one thing that's very, very special about this place is that every war that Holyoke had military personnel die in has been honored by having a plaque or having a monument somewhere in Holyoke. Now, there's only 3 locations where they are at. The World War II, the Vietnam, the Korean, and the Civil War monuments are all in Veterans Park of Holyoke. The World War I plaque is in the War Memorial building on Appleton Street in Holyoke. The Spanish-American War is represented by a plaque that's inside of this National Guard Armory. Hopefully it'll be taken care of. Hopefully if they have to take the building down, they'll remove that plaque. I wish they remove it now and put it in the War Memorial Building. And the reason why is the building is degraded. And who knows if they ever come to destroy it and they said we can't go inside of it, that means a plaque will have to be left inside. And that would be horrible because you would lose one of the plaques that honored the war dead of Holyoke. So I think something should be done at this point. Now, is this building worth restoring? Sure, it might take a lot of money, but with love, with CPA or Community Preservation Act grants, you can really get up to snuff.
So quickly, before we continue with the rest of the interview, Just to fill our listeners in, if you want to find out more information or sign up for any of his various tours, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org. And there he has both videos of the various stops along each tour and also past and present photos of the historical sites throughout as well. And if you're interested in setting up a private tour, you can email him directly at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And they are perfect for fun and educational outdoor activities for the whole family or for group parties, especially those special occasions and get-togethers. They are also good just for getting outdoors for the day. So getting back to our interview, how can this building be saved?
Well, in a few ways. I think the halfway measures are great at this point because as long as you get someone in there, such as a retail establishment or a governmental building or a civil institution, then at least they'll be taking care of the building, watching out for problems, and 10 years from now, maybe they can restore it to a grander look. And halfway measures are great in these old buildings. Now, another way is Community Preservation Act in Holyoke, and if you get a grant from Holyoke to restore this to its historic look, that could be a lot of money. It could be a multi-year thing, a small grant each year to build upwards to a much better look. And that is quite possible. You could also have the city of Holyoke just say, this is too important for us, and we're going to restore it on our own. Any of these are fine. Sadly, the building is deteriorating because once you have a leak in the roof, it means that the walls and the floor also get destroyed along the way. All right.
So, tell us about the Massachusetts National Guard.
All right. Massachusetts National Guard, like most National Guards around the country, is an Army-based institution where you join it, and you're pretty much saying you're the Massachusetts Army or Massachusetts militia. Only the federal government can call them up to service outside of Massachusetts, and that's only if the governor gives them permission. So the National Guard program is wonderful. It gets men involved in their community. It gets men involved in the military at a lower level. There are two rankings. There's Massachusetts Air National Guard and the Massachusetts Army National Guard. When the Air National Guard is based out of Barnes Airport in Westfield, at least in the western Massachusetts, and the Army National Guard is also based around the area. Now, it's a program that's one short of being the Army, so most men can still go to college full time and be in this program too. So this is a historic building, not only because of the grand look, the grand architectural look to it, not only because it's important to Holyoke, it was also important to Massachusetts military history.
So, thank you, Robert, for educating us on your tours, and we want to thank our listeners for tuning in. And you can also tune into a large selection of our other podcasts and much more at his website. Again, that's holyokecanaltour.org. And again, you can email him directly for private tours or to inquire about anything else at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And be sure to keep an eye out for his upcoming 2024 season tours and more as they become available. Thank you for tuning in.